Hello, I have been editing today and I haven't edited in a while. I had my best friend's wedding this last weekend and it was nothing short of amazing. We had such a wonderful time. She was the best bride. Disclaimer, okay, because I have to take myself back because I have said some stuff that I need to take back. We decided to stay in Daytona because it is spring break. So we had decided, you know what, let's stay in Daytona. It was still like 30, 40 minutes away from the venue, but it was still closer to that than our house. Like from our house, it was a little over an hour. When I grew up, Daytona Beach was the best time. We had so much fun in Daytona. My favorite still being Clearwater. Number one place that we stayed with my family was Adams Mark. Adams Mark has now changed into the Hilton. When it was Adams Mark, it was a blast. So I had never stayed there since it turned into the Hilton, and we go to the rehearsal dinner, all is good, have a great time at the rehearsal dinner, and then we're really excited to go to the hotel. I had explained to my family, I'm like, oh, this place is the best. Well, we pull up and the only way to get into the hotel, you have to go into this like valet area, and the line was so freaking long, and it's already like 10 o'clock at night. The line is super duper long, and we find out we have to wait in it. So we like drove around, found out we had to wait in it, went back in line. We pull up and we're like, okay, well, we're gonna do the self-parking option. Oh, that's gonna be $30. We're like, $30 to park our car when we're staying here? And they're like, yeah, you have to pay to park your car. And we're like, back in the day, you did not have to pay to park your car if you were actually staying at the hotel. So already we're like, well, that sucks. And we're like, okay, well then where do we go? Where do we go to do the parking? And he's like, okay, you're gonna go out and you're gonna drive, and it's like right down the street. It's just out in the field. Yeah, you're gonna go park over there. And we're like, we have two young kids. It's downtown Daytona Beach. We had a lot of stuff, and we're like, that's where you have us park? We don't get to park at the hotel that we're staying at? It's like, yeah, no, parking's down there. We're like, okay, well then how much is valet? And he's like, it's $40 a day. And we're like, okay, well for $10 more, let's do valet. So already we were gonna stay there for like 4 or 5 days, $40 a day that we weren't expecting to pay. So already we're kind of annoyed at this point. We start taking everything out. We're like, hey, can we have one of those like bellboy, I don't really know what it's called, like the bellboy, like just the carriage part. And he's like, yeah, I'll call someone. So he calls the bellboy over, and the bellboy's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this. And we're like, oh, no, we'll just take this from you, because that's, again, back in the day, you were allowed to take it yourself. He's like, no, I have to take it for you. And we're like, the only way we can get up with all this stuff with two young kids who are sleeping in our arms, like, we have to take this thing. So we're like, great, now we have to tip this guy. So already we're just being thrown, before we've even gotten into the hotel, we're being thrown all these extra charges that we weren't expecting. We did know that we were gonna have to pay an extra $25 a day just to be there. So you pay for the room, but then just to be there and use like their amenities and their Wi-Fi and all that crap, like you have to pay $25 a day. And we're like, okay, we're exhausted at this point. We drove from home, we went to the rehearsal dinner, we're ready to get to the hotel room, so whatever. We walk into the lobby, we're like, okay, yeah, this is fine, very pretty, this is good, we're good. So we start walking down, we finally get our keys, so we start walking down with the bellboy, he's talking to us, and we're looking around, we're like, okay, this is nice, there's a Starbucks inside, like we're like, okay, this is nice. Then as we're going a little bit more, it just starts going from nice to like really old and like really dingy, and we're like, did we like walk through like a time warp? These halls look like they did 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. So already I'm kind of like super turned off at this point. I'm like, great, well maybe our room will be a little better. Okay, I'm gonna stop being so judgy. We get to the elevator's fine, all that part's fine. We get to elevator and we're on the 5th floor, and when we get all the way to the top, I go to step out, and I don't know if it was well, it definitely had to have been my vertigo or something. I was so dizzy and like uneven. I was like, whoa. And so that spiked my anxiety significantly, because I was like, holy crap, wait a second. I was just very like this. So my anxiety spiked even more, like sky high. We go down the hallway. I just feel like tunnel vision almost. Like we're going down this hallway and it just feels very narrow. Not like a cruise, but like very narrow, very dirty. Like I'm like, kids, please don't touch anything. Don't take your shoes off. Like this is just not okay. Walk into the room. It's a standard hotel room, but I just kept feeling like my whole being like just like starting to like be crushed. The hotel was nothing like I had remembered, or it was identical to what I remembered. Nothing was maintained. It was small. The bathroom, I had to wipe myself because I was so grossed out. The floors were cracked, literally cracked. All the different like hardware pieces were all rusted. It just was gross. We wiped everything down, which we would have done anyway, even if it were really beautifully nice. We still would have wiped things down just because we had young kids, and you just never know. But not like a crazy wipe, like just a quick little Lysol wipe on the phone and the remote and just little highly touched areas, which I'm sure they do, but we just had to do it ourselves too, just for peace of mind. This is a 4-star hotel, mind you. It's like $500 a night to stay at this hotel. $500 a night, and it was not it. I will, without a doubt, never go back. And I'm sure it got really bad when the hurricanes came. They got destroyed over there, and we stayed right there at the boardwalk, which is what got destroyed. It just was not good. The pool wasn't nice. Going towards the beach was very nice though. Like that area I really liked. There was like a courtyard area. Like I said, there was Starbucks. Like if you stay there too, if you decide to go against my recommendation and you stay there, there's a Starbucks in the hotel. Don't go to that one. Go to the one that's a little bit outside the hotel. Like you get in from the outside. That's the one. It's still attached to the hotel. It's still part of the hotel, but you get in a different way. You get in outside. That one is way cheaper. So, but the people inside, they were at least nice enough to let us know, like, hey, the one outside's much cheaper. We just did not love it. My anxiety was sky high. I didn't go to sleep until 3 a.m. the night of the wedding, before the wedding. I got zero sleep. My anxiety was like racing. I felt like I was suffocating, and I just having a hard time with my anxiety. So there's that. And so then we had the wedding. The wedding was beautiful. I was so grateful to be off the 5th floor. Oh yeah, there's no balcony. Like the balcony, the amount you can stand is probably about that wide that you can stand out there, but like there's a railing. So I mean, you still can kind of like look over. So that was nice. And we were beachside, which I appreciated. We did have ocean front. So I did appreciate that about the room as well. We weren't supposed to though. Apparently they upgraded our room. Well, this was not an upgrade. We did get oceanside, which was great. That night people were screaming all night long, really bad anxiety, having a really hard time. The wedding was absolutely beautiful. I was so happy to be away from the hotel. Like honestly, my anxiety was non-existent at the wedding just because I was so happy to be away from the hotel. Upon going back to the hotel, my daughter screamed bloody murder, begging to go home, only because she was so tired. So I ended up getting her to bed like midnight, 1 o'clock, finally got her to sleep. So they were just really overtired, and it just was like, it just kept feeling like it was tumbling out of control. So we got good night sleep the night of the wedding. I did better. My anxiety was still sky high, but not as bad. So I did get to at least get some sleep that night. And then waking up the next day was very nice. Not having to go anywhere, not having to do anything. Making it all about the beach was the best. So we woke up, got coffee, and just went to the beach and met my parents at the beach. And that was really nice. So we really enjoyed that. Went to the pool. The pool was so gross. If you hear them, they're playing. The beach was so nice though. Right at that location was really nice because no one can drive right there. At Daytona Beach you can drive on it, and this part you can't. But then my husband and I go back up and we're like, you know what, we're gonna go sightseeing. Let's go out. It was gonna start raining. It was getting cloudy. It was getting really cold. So we're like, let's stay away from the water at this point. We've gotten a lot of sun. Let's go sightseeing instead and like do a little bit of souvenir shopping. So that's what we had planned. We went upstairs after the pool and beach. We took showers, and I like was so not in the mood to put on makeup or get all dolled up. So I'm like sitting there, and my husband and I just look at each other, and we both smile, and we're like, yeah, we decided to leave that day. We just both were like, do you want to go home? We're supposed to stay another night or two, and we just were like, no. And I'd never seen two people pack quicker than we did. So we paid for an additional night, and we just did not stay. We honestly were at a point where we're like, we would rather pay them than to not have to stay another night in this place. That was like the best decision. That was my favorite part of it. Since being home, my back went out. So now my back is messed up, and it's doing a little bit better today. I'm feeling relief right now. In fact, I forgot my back was out since talking to you guys, which is good. But I have had really bad nerve pain and sciatica pain, and just not good. That is that. That was a long story, I'm sorry, but I have to put it out there that anyone who I've ever said go visit Daytona, don't. It was grimy. I was like, when we were walking the streets, even shopping, I'm like, and half the time I was like, I'm not going into any of those gift shops, none of them. And like walking the streets, I was terrified with my kids. It just was not, I could not wait to get out of there. I felt like I was holding my breath until we like left Daytona Beach. I like sighed of relief, but then on the way home when we left, it was St. Patty's Day. So we knew that people could be a little crazy. So we were driving very carefully, but there was a car in front of us that, I'm not kidding you, just went boom, boom, back and forth in the lane, constantly doing this. Switching lanes, like luckily there was no car there. I mean, just for miles, we're talking like probably 15, 20 miles. I'm just so happy to be home, but at the same time, I wish we would go somewhere. We're gonna try somewhere else next time. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say, so we had to pay for all these extra amenities, right? Well, one of them was Wi-Fi and I didn't have it. The Wi-Fi didn't work. We were paying for something that didn't work. That was the other thing. So I wasn't getting Wi-Fi, so I wasn't able to upload a reel. I've uploaded a reel every single day for 2 years. Every single day for 2 years. So I didn't upload one and I just felt like it was a sign to come back over here. We went for a walk and my back is feeling way better. I don't know what it is about ibuprofen, but I feel better later. So I'll take it in the morning, and this was the same thing when I was recovering from my C-section. I feel better like the end of the day. If I took ibuprofen in the morning, I feel better by the end of the day. Probably because like whatever the anti-inflammatory property is, it just sucks that I can't feel it throughout the whole time. My dye hair. Got back from a walk with the kids and it was pretty windy, but went out with some family friends to lunch today and it was so nice just getting out of the house. We were talking because they were all part of the wedding last weekend too, and we were all talking how this spring break just flew by. It just felt like all week we were like playing this weird catching up game, and I feel like I don't have that calm and peace that I was hoping for. I am gonna actually update my phone first. I've been using this beautiful combo and I'm loving it. So on the beach, and I don't know if I said it, but on the beach, there was a girl who was using this combo and I saw her with it and I was like, girl, the second I get home, I'm buying that gummy bear pop socket and we're gonna rock that. We went out to eat and I just never made it a priority before to make sure that I get out and I'm socializing with the people who I love the most, because I just was so caught up in my own head and in my own crap that I just never made it a priority. And then I recently realized, girl, you gotta go with your peeps and you gotta make sure that you're fueling your soul. Something that happened the last so many years, like the last 10 years for real. I was being surrounded by people who weren't my people. I feel like when you get in a relationship or you start working at a certain job or whatever, like wherever your lifestyle kind of leads you, you kind of make those people your people. But sometimes those people just aren't people who really motivate you or inspire you or who's gonna help you get to the next step in your life. And so I was surrounded by people who, in my opinion and in my heart, wanted to see me fail, just didn't expect much from me. And so because of that, I kind of fell victim to it. I didn't know I was in that depth of depression, that depth of identity crisis, that depth of who am I anymore? Because I've got some people telling me this is who I am, so I feel like I have to be this person. You've got to stay true to who you are, and it might be easier to kind of bend for people, and it might be easier to kind of pretend like you're someone else, but at the end of the day, you're gonna crash and burn. I held that facade and persona for so long that I crashed and burned, because I don't think things that certain people think are funny. I don't think these things are cool. I don't think these things are interesting. My care and desires are not in the same field as other people's cares and desires. And so I crashed and burned. And so it's just important to make sure that you surround yourself with people who really love you for you and want to see you do well and want to cheer you on and want to be there for you. It's very important to do that. My husband and I slept in until like 10:35, like 2 days ago. 10:35, the kids just played and did their own thing. Usually they wake us up, they want breakfast and this and this. They made their own breakfast, like they got their own breakfast because they like either muffins or like, which I already have made, or sometimes they just want like a Pop-Tart or whatever, or they just are not big breakfast kids that day. And so they just kind of like took care of themselves and didn't care to wake us up. They had water and everything. I'm like, I started Tower of Dawn and is it Empire or something? Empire of Storm of Empire, one of those. I started those two. I'm tandem reading those. Throne of Glass series, not my favorite. It's just not. I thought it was gonna be like, I feel like it was really talked up and it's just not my favorite series. I really enjoyed A Port of Thorns and Roses. Like I really enjoyed that, but I feel myself kind of like drifting. Like I don't really want to read. Like Sarah J Maas, I knew her books were not going to be something that I was going to be super crazy about. A Court of Thorns and Roses, I am though. Like I'm a big true follower of that. But so far, not of Throne of Glass. I'm just not, I could really care less about this one. You know what? I think I loved Throne of Glass though. I do think I loved that book. But I haven't cared since. Hello, good morning. I have so much to do. I have not edited or anything, and I know that's just getting super annoying to talk about. There's so many times I've wanted to like talk to you guys and share kind of what's going on in my mind and in my heart. I feel like that's just what I'm really good at, trying to let people know that they're not alone and the feelings that they're feeling. And I try, you know, sharing my experiences in my life to motivate and inspire other people to do the same, to just know that you're not alone. There's people who understand what you're going through, and you never have to feel like you're alone. And so this space is just so important for me, and I've just always like felt like this emptiness during certain days, like, wait, like there's just something that really has made me, you know, since I was young, and to abandon my channel was just like really weird for me. I just want to be a place where people, like, there's so many of you who used to always come here and would send me the DMs like saying like, I just love watching your content because you're just open and you share things that make me feel less alone. And I love that. That is like ultimately something that just means a lot to me. It just shows that I'm not here for like nothing. And so I just miss this platform so much. Sometimes I try to like open up on Instagram and it's just not the place to do it. It's just not the audience, and I feel funny just opening up and being so vulnerable over there. I don't know how I'm trying to like word this. I'm just saying like I really love being able to connect with people over here, and this is like a platform I really miss. So anyways, let's catch you up to speed. Since the last time we chatted, I wanted to come on and say that I had a really crappy day yesterday. Something was off. I spent the day scrolling, and that is never good for anybody. For me, what happens to me is I don't judge my life based off of what I see other people doing. If I watch and indulge and digest other people's content, like how they run their household, how they do things, how their kids are dressing, I start to think that's the way I'm supposed to do things. Like even something as simple as how someone cleans their house. Like I feel in my heart, I'm like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to be doing it. No, you don't have to do it anyway, any particular way. You do it the way that you do it. I found myself just constantly saying, oh, well, this is how they're doing it, so I'm supposed to do that way. Like, no, that's not how it works. You don't have to do anything. Anything you see on my channel, you don't have to do. You don't have to own it. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to clean, think, parent. You don't have to do anything the way that I do it. I just share the way that I do it. And so I think content creators and people who have an audience needs to remind people that you don't need to feel like any way that someone does something is the right way either. Parenting, this whole, you know, crunchy mom movement, the Botox lifestyles, whatever it is that people like are living, and this like homestead type of lifestyle, you don't have to live that way too. And you can like maybe want to learn how to adapt certain things from other people's lifestyle, but you don't have to live that way. And it doesn't make them right. It doesn't make them better. It doesn't make you worse. Okay. So don't feel like you have to be doing things any other way than the way that you're doing them. If it's working for you and everybody is happy and healthy and safe, you're doing the right way. So I just kept finding like yesterday, and even something like when it touched things that trigger my anxiety, I just kept seeing like those type of things. And I'm telling you, like, when you're someone who suffers from anxiety, your brain almost tries to seek it. And I think you try to seek it because because you feel like you want to like retain information about it so that you can either avoid it or so that you're knowledgeable about it. And you just keep seeking this information and this information so you can know more and know more and know more. But really, the more that you know makes your anxiety literally worse. I kept hearing like, oh, they're ignorant, and that was like a negative thing. Sometimes in certain situations, if it's better for your mental health, sometimes certain ignorance is bliss. I just was like getting like just too many posts and information that in my brain I was subconsciously wanting more, and Instagram was giving me more. It's like their algorithm talks to your subconscious. It can tell like where you're kind of lingering on certain posts, so it keeps delivering those posts. And so it's just like a vicious cycle that you can avoid if you just take a step back from your phone. Just take a step back. You don't need to digest all of it. That is what was going on with me yesterday. And then this morning I had like a little tiff, and just like mom guilt was starting to play a role in like my day. So I had a harder time this morning. Mom guilt is like the one thing that will destroy me. I just was having a hard time with something going on and not knowing what I was supposed to do. And then I just had like a hard time. So I ended up breaking down today and now I feel amazing. Like I had like a nice cry this morning and I feel amazing. Some people like myself been told that we're emotional, we take things harder. There's some people who are just very hard and cold and thick-skinned, and not just thick-skinned, but they're just very cold. And it takes a lot to become affected by something from some people. And so when you interact or are around people who are like that, but you're someone like me who you feel the emotions, you're really happy, you're really sad, you cry, you're not afraid to cry, you're not afraid to be mad, you're not afraid of your emotions, and you embrace your emotions, it's very clashing because they'll tell you, oh, you're emotional or you're this or you're that. And you just have to know and remind yourself that we are all different. And if you are someone like myself who needs to have that cry in order to move on or to feel better, you better have that cry. It does not make you weak. Crying does not make you weak. Having any sort of emotion that may differ from someone else or having a reaction that may differ from someone else does not make you wrong, and it doesn't make you emotional. It doesn't make any of these terms that a lot of narcissistic people like to tell you. You are you. You handle emotions differently, and that's fine. Do it. Don't let anybody else tell you how you're supposed to react or feel. Ever. I just want to be the person who reminds you to just be who you are. Good morning. Need to make my bed, so don't mind the angle. I self-tanned last night. Your girl is going to be a full-time self-tanner again. I did it before I got pregnant with my son. I fell in love with it. I can't remember if I used L'Oreal or Jergens, but now I've been using B-Tan. Let me know what your favorite self-tanner is, because now your girl is going to be a self-tanning queen. Last night was my sister's 22nd birthday, so for anyone who has been here since the beginning, you guys are used to seeing her as like a little baby. She was like maybe 5 when I started on YouTube or something like that. We're still in the soccer season. My daughter's birthday's in like 2 weeks, so we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do for her. She used to not want big parties. She used to get overwhelmed with a lot of people, and so she has a lot of cousins and we have a lot of family, and it used to overwhelm her, whereas now she's like, no, I want them there. But because we have such a big family, I don't really know where to host a party. Good morning. It is Monday. We're editing. I'm gonna get vlogs going. Beautiful day. It's just this weather and just it being beautiful every single day just is like lighting my soul on fire. I still have like makeup all around my eyes. I haven't done a very good job cleaning it, but the last 2 to 3 years have just been so good for me, and I have learned so much. There's people who will come into your life, and you may think that there's no opportunity for people to come in your life. You're just gonna be a loner forever and you just aren't gonna mesh well with people, but there will be people who come in your life who show you you are perfect exactly how you are, and there will be people who you vibe with and who will love you for exactly who you are. You may feel like you don't even have the opportunity. As someone like myself, I work from home. Like, I don't know if I'll ever really be able to make friends. I've had friends come and go the last couple of years, and not really go, but just I don't get to see them all that often, which really sucks. I don't know, I just kind of had it in my head where it's cool, I don't really need friends, I'm okay. It wasn't fair to me to feel like I didn't need any friends. I would rather have no friends than have friends who are fake or who just make me uncomfortable. I just was learning that there's gonna be people who just steal your energy and who just steal that good feeling that you have about yourself. I've just seen so many posts and things and like learning about how there's gonna be people who just want to rob you of your like sparkle and just what make you you. And gosh, did that happen to me the last so many years. Like, I just felt like I wasn't allowed to be who I was. I felt like I was really surrounded by people who they just wanted to always tell me what I was supposed to feel or how I was supposed to feel or what I was supposed to do. I never felt like people were genuinely happy for me. I felt like it was a lot of competition. I just don't like that. I just struggled really finding my people. And so anyways, that was a long little blurb. I just want to say you'll find people who love you for exactly who you are. So never change who you are, be who you are, and just know that there are people who will love you for exactly who you are. I'm learning too about like boundaries and everything, but like I'm learning different personalities that I just don't do well with. Like, I don't like being around people who are like, come on, just do it, just do it. Like, I have never, ever been okay with peer pressure my whole life. Like, I was the one going against the grain because I never wanted to be told what to do, how to feel. I don't do well with that, especially from my peers. I can take it better from, you know, elders, I can listen to what they're trying to tell me, but like my peers, you will not tell me what to do or how to do it or any of that. And I will butt heads with you. And so it seemed like a lot of the people who are coming in my life are like, come on, let's go, let's do it. I don't vibe with that. I don't want to be told what to do or how I'm supposed to feel or how I'm supposed to think or how I'm supposed to behave. Like, I don't do well with that. Yeah, I'm just learning a lot about like why I went through the mental turmoil I went through too. I am just learning my environment played such a role, and I feel like I finally entered an environment that is so healthy for me, and there are distances that are so healthy, and it was rough. It was so rough, and I keep saying it over and over because I know there's a lot of people who are in those shoes who feel the same things I was feeling. That was a lot. I just wanted to touch base on that and just kind of share like where I am with my journey and where I'm at right now. Now I'm finally making friends and doing things that are important to me. YouTube lit a fire under my butt because I have to, they let me know that I would not be part of the partnership program if I don't upload. I never knew that you could get your channel, like you can't monetize your channel if you take like a small break. You know what? That was like such a huge stepping stone for me. That just made me feel like $1 million when I got YouTube Partner. I got it when it was really hard. You had to apply, not everyone could get it. Now I feel like everybody and their mom can get it. I did it when it was much harder to get into, and I worked really hard to get it. So I would be devastated if they took it away. So they lit a fire under my butt. So I'm gonna make sure that vlog gets uploaded. Technically I need to be doing that because YouTube is my jam, and I was putting all of my eggs in like the Instagram basket and I wasn't making money. I don't know, it's been a really long time since I've gotten paid from YouTube or from Instagram, so why wouldn't I come back over here to YouTube to make sure I'm getting paid for the content that I'm making? So I'm gonna have to upload as many vlogs as possible to get my watch time up. So if you guys could watch my vlogs, I would greatly appreciate it because I want to keep this channel going. And if you can share my channel, I cannot thank you enough. I've been getting a lot of breastfeeding questions lately, and I feel like I have a lot of friends who are wanting to breastfeed reach out to me, and I am so grateful that they know that I'm someone they can reach out to with that. Nothing is too TMI. Girls are sending me photos or videos. It's wonderful that I'm able to be there for some girls. So I've decided that I am going to still do breastfeeding videos and just share different things that worked for me and different advice that I have based off of questions that I get regularly from girls here on social media or in my everyday life. There's just a lot of questions when it goes into breastfeeding, and I feel like through my journeys I was able to learn so freaking much that I hope my channel can just be, I feel like a lot of the breastfeeding channels that you go to or a lot of the breastfeeding videos are from like nurses, and I want to give a standpoint of someone who went through it and who went through a really difficult time with it and who overcame it, and give real advice, because I unfortunately kept getting told the same thing over and over and over from lactation consultants, and that's beautiful and that's wonderful, but I feel like they kind of read from a book instead of giving real life scenarios, and every woman is different. And I feel like because every woman's different and they're reading from like a textbook material, I'm not saying all lactation consultants are that way. From my experience, they all gave the same advice and it was very textbook oriented. And a lot of them were much older women who even admitted that they did not breastfeed, who were like trying to teach me, or maybe some of them did breastfeed, but their experience was so easy that it's really hard to take advice from someone who didn't go through the hard stuff. So I'm going to teach you things that I went through and kind of share all those things with you guys. So that's something you can expect on my channel very soon, because I really have a lot of, I think, good advice and good information that I can share to help make it maybe a little bit easier for some women, and to help you feel less alone and to help you feel supported. Because I think that's the hardest thing, is that when I was going through it, there was a lot of girls who were just kind of like, you'll be fine, or oh, that pain is normal. Well, certain pain is normal, certain pain is not normal. This is what you should look out for. And you know, I went through it, y'all. I went through it. If you don't know, I breastfed my son for a month and I ended up getting an abscess. So it can go from like a clogged duct, which turns into mastitis, which turns into maybe a galactocele, which turns into an abscess, which you will require surgery in order to get that drained. So that is what happened to me. I did not know that you had to empty completely, and so because of that, I ended up with mastitis. And because I was newly postpartum and still healing and having the night sweats, and I was always just kind of up and down fluctuating, I didn't realize I had a fever. I didn't realize I had mastitis. I knew I was in pain, but I thought it was normal. It was my first child. So I went through those motions, and the pain I went through was utter and pure agony. I just don't have the words to describe what I went through. And so my abscess had gotten so big and so out of hand that once I got to the hospital, I took the pain for as long as I could. I went to the hospital and my mom was sitting with me, and all of a sudden my fever spiked and I felt like I was just gonna like fall asleep because I just had zero energy in my body to stay awake. And so my fever spiked, and I remember just like feeling like I couldn't move, and all of a sudden I felt very, very wet underneath my breast, and the abscess had completely broken through my skin. Your body is trying to get rid of it naturally, so my body was basically taking the abscess that was inside me and it was trying to push it out through my skin, and that's what it did. So it completely sliced open. It's a whole story, you guys. So when I tell you I went through it, I went through it. Okay, I've got a very high pain tolerance. So if I'm telling you I went through agony, just know people would have went to the hospital weeks sooner. I lasted weeks when I really shouldn't have, because I am getting a lot of questions recently from moms, and if you're watching me and you're one of them, I love you and I thank you for coming to me. So I will be doing those videos, but our vlog is uploading. Hello, I know it's really dark. I've been very on edge since last night, and I don't want to say exactly why. You're welcome for that. What else is new? Let's just say there's sometimes that like I feel spooked, and like the spook usually comes to fruition. I don't know, I just feel like on edge. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel on edge, and I felt on edge since last night. I went to bed feeling on edge. I woke up this morning feeling on edge. I had bits and pieces throughout the day today feeling on edge, and now I have like more reason to feel on edge, and I don't know. The vlog is live and I'm watching it, y'all, and I know I talk really fast, and I think the problem too, I was editing it very like quick edits, so the vlog coming back, I don't love that one, but I will be more mindful during my edits later. I had like the worst gut feeling the other day that just really put me on edge all day yesterday. I think I talked about that over here. I think I started to talk about it, but I was very on edge yesterday for the entire day, and then it eased up, and today I'm much better too. But I just feel like one of my family members actually got in a car accident today.
Look, I put potion in it and then put water in it.
Oh, are those the magic mixies?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's on your birthday list.
Watch. They'll put water in it. Magic motion. That's motion. Easy, put water in it.
Okay, cool. So we'll get that for your birthday, okay?
Okay.
All right. You just gotta pick which color you want.
But I want all of them.
Okay, well, we'll start collecting them. Ooh, cute. I like those. Cute.
This one.
You like this one because it's new? I think so.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like both of them. They're both really, really, really cute.
But I don't like the one that has the name on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't like the name.
Yeah, I usually don't either. She's very funny with branding. She says she doesn't like that it has the loopy name right here, which is interesting because that's like a thing. People don't like words on like clothes. That's funny. Yes, baby.
Watch over here.
I'm gonna get a new cup of coffee and
Mama.